But Alabama this year, this is a manageable schedule, which is good for Kalen DeBoer in his first year. I mean, you don't play Texas because you played them the last 2 years whenever they were non-conference. You do get Georgia this year, which is awesome that they actually played them in a regular season, which they haven't done in, years. But it's a typical Alabama difficult schedule as well. Starting off the year against Western Kentucky, that is going to be a win for Alabama. South Florida in week 2. Alex Golish, he's gonna come up and he's gonna get a win against Alabama. No, I'm joking, by the way.
No, I wouldn't have. I mean, you seen the game last year under Nick Saban.
Well, but hey, did you see the comments hear the comments Alex Golish made about Alabama, and there's another Power 5.
He said Alabama gets to come to USF, didn't he?
They get to play us. So a little bit of bulletin board material right there from former assistant coach.
Now, Skeeter brings up a good point. What really has changed at Alabama?
Nothing really. I mean,
we all know Nick Saban still has an office there.
Yeah,
he's probably going to be the athletic director soon. So
did they get a new head coach though?
Is he really the head coach, though, if Nick Saban's still there?
Good point.
Exactly.
Very good point.
All right, keep going.
You do travel to Wisconsin in week 3, and I will say this. I think this is going to be a tough game. First off, it's at Wisconsin, but I believe in Luke Fickell out there at Wisconsin. I think that he's going to turn that program around. I just don't think he is there yet. So Alabama goes to Wisconsin and gets a win.
For the sake of the whole Big Ten SEC conversation, Alabama, do your job. Just take care of them.
Yeah, absolutely. You do get a bye week before you play against Georgia. Georgia also has a bye week before they play Alabama. Alabama gets this game at home, but Georgia wins the ball game, and it is kind of the same reasons that I talked about Oklahoma. We don't know exactly what Alabama under Kalen DeBoer is going to look like at this point. I think there's still going to be some things being figured out at this point in the season, which is why I have Georgia winning the game.
I'll save my comment for my pick, but yes.
Okay.
I agree. Vanderbilt, that's a loss,
But Vanderbilt, Alabama's next, aren't they? No, that's a win for Alabama. You also going to get it.
Okay, that took a second, but I got you. Back when Vanderbilt started 2-0 and they thought they were hot.
Hey, they showed Alabama some real SEC ball.
59-0.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, South Carolina. That's going to be a win there. I'm not gonna lie. I went back and forth and back and forth on this game.
How home are you? Come on, because you already said we're beating Oklahoma, so let's hear it.
And look, I know I'm stalling here, but I went back and forth on Alabama's schedule and on Tennessee's schedule for this right here. I do have Tennessee winning. It's going to be a very close game, but I think the kneeling factor does get it done for Tennessee in year 1 under Kalen DeBoer.
So you have Tennessee starting 7-0. All right, I like to hear that.
Maybe we'll
you ain't tricking nobody, dog. By the way, for anybody not listening or for everybody listening and whatnot, we do Tennessee's last. So it's not doing it last because we think they're going undefeated. Well, Michael might think they're going undefeated at this point, but we're just doing Tennessee's last because we're Tennessee boys. So we're doing everybody else's schedule and then doing Tennessee's. Which, if you've been paying attention, you'll kind of figure out what our picks are by watching these segments. But all right, so
I'll give you a teaser. I do have Tennessee losing at least one game. So
well, I mean, I hope so because if not, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, Missouri and Skeeter, I know you're still watching. I've got Alabama winning this game. And
you got a fan.
It is, yeah.
He said, that's my boy.
Yeah. Skeeter, I do have Alabama winning this game. And it is strictly because it is at Bryant-Denny. And I think we're going to finally start seeing Kalen DeBoer's team figure some things out that maybe against Georgia they didn't quite have figured out. You get the Vanderbilts and South Carolinas to really figure some things out. I think that Tennessee game, that's why I think it's going to be so close, is they're going to have finally figured some things out. Yeah, I know. Go ahead and boo me on that one. But I do have Alabama getting a win against Missouri. At LSU. We said it earlier.
God, he's coming at our throat, bro. God. All right. Well, we appreciate you sticking around.
I mean, yeah. At LSU, Alabama does get a bye week before this one. I think we talked. LSU also gets a bye week before this one. I've got Alabama winning this one, but this one could go either way.
Ooh, you got them going on the road to LSU getting a win. Kind of contradicting yourself there a little bit, but it's all good. Look, I'm not. I'm not trying to hate. I'm just saying.
Hey, I had, when we did LSU's prediction, I had this as one of LSU's 2 losses.
I'm about to report my first comment of our career, and whatever, dude. You know what, chat box? I appreciate you guys.
Yep.
First, a documentary to listen to. Bro, don't do it. Maybe find one with like how to not lose 3 toes or something like that. Anyway.
Okay. I'm sorry. Moving right along. So,
I'm sorry.
Mercer, Alabama gets a win there. Travel to Oklahoma and get a win. And then you get the Iron Bowl at the end of the season. Anything can happen in this game. You get the game at home. I've got Kalen DeBoer winning this one to go 10-2 in his first season.
That's respectable. I just don't know. I don't know. Anyways, 10-2, floor and ceiling. I gotta lock in, dog. I gotta lock in. All right, ceiling and floor.
Floor for this team. What I think the floor is 8-4. What the absolute floor should be for this team is 9-3. Otherwise, we're gonna see a lot of people calling out Kalen DeBoer. I think that you could possibly lose to LSU, as well as Missouri is going to be the other one that I say would be a loss. I'm not going to say 7-5, although I could see them struggling with Oklahoma. But I'm going to go 8-4. Without a doubt, the ceiling of this team is 12-0. I think absolutely you can give Georgia a game. I just think that the experience of Kirby Smart versus Kalen DeBoer is going to play a factor, and absolutely you can beat Tennessee in Knoxville.
Wipe it. Just going to be short and sweet with this thing. Western Kentucky, that's a dub. South Florida, they're not going to let them hang around like they did last year. That's going to be a dub. Jalen Milroe will not be benched before that game starts. Let's see. At Wisconsin, that's going to be another win. I do agree with you on the Georgia game. Even though they got them at home, I think that's a loss. But I think if these two teams were to rematch, I think Alabama would win the rematch. Alabama's notorious for doing that.
Yep.
Georgia usually wins against Alabama in the regular season, and then Alabama will get them in the game that really matters because it's more recent, recency bias. In the SEC championship, if these two teams were to face each other and Alabama wins, somehow, some way, even though they've got probably a tied record and a tied, head-to-head, Alabama would get the nod just because they beat them more recently. I don't know if I agree with that, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Vanderbilt, that hostile environment Vanderbilt has, man. If they get the chance to single file line rush the field, I'm joking. That's a win. South Carolina, I just don't think they get the job done. So Alabama gets another win there. South Carolina is a weird team, man. I don't know. I mentioned Shane Beamer in the first segment. If that dude goes 6-6 again, I don't see how he stays. I mean, there's no progression there at that point. But I don't know. Whatever. At Tennessee, I actually got us pulling out the win on this one. I got us losing to Oklahoma, but I think at home, our team is pretty daggum solid at home. I think we're like 14-1 in the last 2 years at home, and that only loss coming to Georgia last year. I think we got something cooking, and I think we made some corrections after that Oklahoma game. Again, I only picked that Oklahoma loss because of our history on road games with teams that we shouldn't lose to, and I think that's why we lose to Oklahoma. But this game right here, we're going to be fired up for it. Third Saturday in October, another home game. I would love to think that we could pull out this win, so that's why I'm going to say that we do. Then they get Missouri. I do think they beat Missouri. after that loss. Alabama's not going to lose 2 games in a row. I don't care what season they're in or what their schedule looks like. They go at LSU here. Tough game, tough environment, but I do think Alabama gets it done. I think they beat LSU. They beat Mercer, and I think they beat Oklahoma. But I think Hugh Freeze gets it done in the Iron Bowl. I think they lose to Auburn in the Iron Bowl. I think Hugh Freeze had them done last year, but unfortunately, I don't even know how to explain that play in the last year's Iron Bowl. I mean, they seem to have the craziest final plays of a football game that you could really ask for. But I think Hugh Freeze, and I kind of called it when Auburn made the hire. They hired a guy that they didn't care could win a national championship because I don't think Hugh Freeze is that guy. But they got a guy that they know could beat Nick Saban. And that's why they went after Hugh Freeze. Now, it's kind of weird now because Nick Saban left after that win. I think Nick Saban knew that. That's why he was like, whoo, we got past Auburn. I'm out of here. I don't know. But I think Auburn and Hugh Freeze gets it done over Alabama in that final game. Alabama will be 9-3 this year. I think their floor. You think Missouri beats them? Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but I'm just not. I'm not giving Skeeter any more love than what he deserves. I'm joking. I love you, Skeeter. So clearly he didn't go watch a documentary because he's sitting here listening to the show. Come on, man. I can't have Missouri going undefeated this year. You know that. I don't even have my boys going undefeated. So I got them going 9-3. I think the floor is 8-4. I think the floor is 8-4. I think the only other loss they could possibly have. Dare I say Missouri? I'm not going to say Missouri. I'm going to say LSU because it's on the road at LSU. I think that could be a tricky game.
We got some Bama haters in the chat. Matt says he wants Bama to lose to anyone, and Justin says love to see him go 0-12.
But to me, look, here's how I look at it. If Bama goes 9-3, that is like equivalent to Tennessee going 6-6. I hate to say it like that because it makes it sound like our standards are a little bit lower, but just at the time right now, if Bama goes 9-3, could you imagine their fan base? Especially if they lost to Tennessee.
But look, Alabama's standards are so high because of what Nick Saban has built there. If they don't make the playoffs, there's going to be a lot of questions being thrown at the Alabama program with Kalen DeBoer at the helm. That's why, 9-3 should be the absolute floor. But I think it's Kalen DeBoer's got to go at least 10-2 this year to have a shot at making the playoffs. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of turmoil going on in Tuscaloosa.
Which brings me to my ceiling. Unlike you, I do not think it's possible for this team to go undefeated. I think it'd be crazy for them to go undefeated. I think just given the talent they lost on the defensive side of the ball, Jalen Milroe, if he's just that dude, but I mean, you would at that point have a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback if they turn around and go undefeated. So, and that I guess is possible, but I just don't see it, man. I mean, with Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Missouri, Auburn, and Oklahoma, I don't think you win. I mean, to me, I would count those as toss-up games, right? I mean, that's not a stretch. I'm not sitting here hating on Alabama by any means. I'm just saying those teams have gotten pretty good. LSU is probably the weaker, maybe Auburn. Auburn's probably the weakest one of all of them, but Auburn's your big rivalry game. So, I mean, I guess you could argue Oklahoma, but you go to Norman. So it's just weird. I think those are some toss-up games, and I don't think they go undefeated in those games right there. So, yeah, man, I got them going 11-1 as a ceiling, 8-4 as the floor. I got them going 9-3. And, I mean, under his first year, you give him a little bit of a slide, but if he doesn't do anything better than 10-2 in his next season, Alabama's got some worries, which is crazy. Talk to me, because if you go 10-2, you do make the playoff, and at that point, I think it's just all on how you perform in the playoff. It's almost going to be okay to go 10-2 for these teams that usually expect to go undefeated. It's just on how they finish the season in the playoffs. So